So, welcome back. So, we are going to start the last session of the fourth day of the 5 day workshop. So, it's our privilege to have with us Dr. Tarun Khan, sir, Scientist G, Head Genetics and Tree Improvement Division at AFRI Jodhpur. Sir is PhD from Rajasthan University, and he is PhD in botany. He was awarded the Young Scientist Award by the Foundation for Scientific Forestry on 19 December 2011. He was awarded the prestigious Indian Botanical Institute Professor Y.S. Murthy Gold Medal. He was awarded the Biotechnology Overseas Associateship and awarded the Rockefeller Foundation PhD Dissertation Research Fellowship also. He has undertaken several research projects. He was a visiting PhD scholar at Department of Botany and Pathology, Purdue University. He worked as for Scientist B in FRI, in Forest Genetics Division at AFRI, Jodhpur, and he was appointed as ICFRE E champion from AFRI Jodhpur. ICFRI E champions are the ICFRI personals nominated by each of the ICFRE institutes to execute the deployment and functioning of ambitious one to its kind e-governance project. Sir would be speaking on the topic the flourishing forest based handicraft industry of Western India, status, challenges, and prospects. Now, I would request Sir to kindly make his presentation. Over to you, Sir.
Am I audible now?
No, yes, sir, you're audible now.
All right. Thank you. I hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible. Just put in the presentation.
Yeah, I'll just go in the presentation mode. Yeah, is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine, sir.
Right. All right. Very good afternoon to all of you. In fact, it's a great pleasure to be once again part of this IFS Officers Compulsory Training Program being organized by MLE University, Noida. And it gives me great pleasure to be able to speak to you, though I really wanted to come there to Noida and make this presentation in person. But because of some other meetings that are going on right now, I just couldn't, travel all the way to Noida. So this is an online presentation from my side. I am Dr. Tarun Kant. I'm a scientist at Arid Forest Research Institute in Jodhpur. And I'll be talking on the flourishing forest-based handicraft industry of Western India. And I'll be focusing on the status, the challenges, and the prospects of this industry. And I'll be talking primarily on the state of Rajasthan and also Gujarat. Incidentally, these two states are also our jurisdiction state of the Arid Forest Research Institute, and we work for forestry research related problems of these two states. So, as you are all aware, handicraft, as defined by Ministry of Textiles, Government of India, it basically means items or products that are produced through skills that are manual, with or without mechanical or electrical or other processes, which appeal to the eye due to characteristics of being artistic or aesthetic or creative or ethnic or being representative of cultural or religious or symbol of social practices, or whether traditional or contemporary. So this is quite a big definition. And this is a definition as given by the Ministry of Textile, Government of India. And so these items are, or the products usually are the handicraft items which may not have functional significance, may or may not have, or a functional utility, but these are usually used as decorative items or gift items. And they have a certain appeal to which the man is drawn towards. Handicrafts, as you all know, usually also symbolize preserved traditional knowledge passed down from generations and have great historic relevance. In fact, this is one of the hallmarks of handicraft. And passing down the generation of a tradition keeps it alive. And that actually is also what makes it very challenging. The handicrafts, of course, are also geographical indicators and have inherent ethnicity attached to them. Handicrafts represent culture and are deep rooted, passed on from generations and at times even centuries. And it can, however, also be contemporary. We have seen a lot of new form of handicrafts that are coming up nowadays, which are very new and very contemporary. So, talking of the significance of the handicraft industry, uh, the handicraft sector actually has played a significant role in the economy of the country. Tourism and together with handicraft, they actually form a big chunk of the India's economic uh, fabric of economy, I should say. It generates substantial foreign exchange for the country while preserving our cultural heritage. In fact, it is a culture currency when it goes to the foreign countries. Highly dispersed, yet it is centralized, spread all over the country in rural as well as urban areas. It provides employment to a vast segment of artisans and is highly labor intensive, especially helping weaker sections of the society. There is a high output to investment ratio, which is a very characteristic of handicraft industry of India, anywhere in the world actually, and generation of subsidiary off-season employment is something also which is a hallmark of this industry, because what it happens is that many times the agricultural community also have some form of artistry they are involved in, and when it is a lean season of agriculture, they always go into this acts as an additional source of, in fact, employment generation for the people who are into the farming. And there is a high ratio of value addition also that is there with this particular handicraft segment. There's a large involvement of women, weaker section, and minorities, and which also makes it very interesting and also has its own challenges because of it. Now, if we talk of the export category-wise export share of handicraft industry, this is a little dated table that I'm showing you. It's of 2018 to 2020. But I mean, the figures remain pretty much, the ratios remain the same. If you look at this, it's primarily the woodware that dominate the handicraft industry. The woodware uh, correspond to actually 25%. One fourth of all handicraft is woodware, and it's wood based, and that is followed by, there are other miscellaneous handicrafts, of course, below the woodware, but the next one is the embroidered and crocheted goods, and then followed by art metalware. So woodware is something which is the focus right now. And since I come from forestry background, working with an institution which is focusing on forestry research, wood and wood-based industries, in fact, acquire a prime importance for us also as a research organization. Now, if we look at this data of 2019 to 2021, 2 years back, till 2 years back, if you look at these, this is from a DG CINS Kolkata, and here you can see the woodware-based handicraft. Actually, this is export data, and it actually there was an increase. This was the time when this was the mid-COVID time. We were fighting a big battle. Every industry was hard hit, particularly the hospitality industries, and so many other sectors were hard hit. But as you can see here, the woodware industry somehow was not shrinking. There was an increase of plus 20.49% during 2019 to 2020. So, I mean, this was just the beginning. And then this is the period of COVID from 2019 to 2021. So, between these two, you can see the difference of the data. And if we look at which are the countries which are the biggest market for India, it's of course USA with 38.38%, and this is actually followed by Europe, and of course also UAE also is a big market for India. But of course, it's the American market which is the biggest market for us. Now, again, in figures, this is the same from the data from the last 2 years back data. And again, USA export was still on during COVID times. So this industry was not hard hit at that time. But talking of the condition right now, at this point in time, the industry, particularly in western part of the country, that is, and also I should focus on Rajasthan, and in Rajasthan, Jodhpur is the hub of handicraft, and that is where it has taken a big, in fact, dent. The handicraft industry is currently suffering. I'll delve upon what are the reasons of it, but let me first share about how organized this industry is when we talk of the nodal organization in India. So the office, as you all know, Office of Development Commissioner Handicraft is the nodal agency in the Government of India for craft and artisans-based activities, and it basically assists in development, marketing, and exports of handicrafts and promotion of crafts, different craft forms and skills. The assistance is in the form of technical as well as financial support, including there are different interventions, there are different schemes from time to time that are government, in fact, brings out those schemes and they are brought to the artisans. Now, when we talk of the state level organization of handicraft sector, every state has got its own, in fact, framework through which these artisans are able to connect with the market, connect with not just the market, but also to get the raw material. So various state level bodies as well as non-government institutions are involved in protecting the interest of handicraft artisans by providing them financial, marketing, training, and infrastructural assistance. Some major players to boost the growth and development of artisans include in Rajasthan, particularly Office of the Commissioner Industries, Rajasthan, it's situated in Jaipur. Then Indian Institute of Craft and Design, IICD, is a major player from Jaipur. Then Rajasthan Small Industries Corporation, that is RSIC. In Gujarat, they are even more. Gujarat State Handloom and Handicraft Development Corporation, Gujarat Khadi Village Industries Board, that is Gujarat State Rural Industries Marketing Corporation, Gujarat Matikam Kalakari and Rural Technology Institute, then Industrial Extension Cottage, the Gujarat Rajya Handloom, Handicraft and Audyogik Sehkari Federation Limited. So every state like this has got its own infrastructure, in its own institutions, and state level organizations are there which support this particular industry. Now, talking of Rajasthan in particular, Rajasthan has always been called as a land of various traditions and cultures. It's a land of Rajas and Maharajas, but of course, land of various traditions and cultures. And handicraft has always been a part of expressing this particular culture of Rajasthan. When talking about handicraft, it again is categorized into various forms of categories, that is handmade, semi-handmade, and even nowadays machine-made. Now, on the economic front, if we talk of this handicraft, the export, when we talk of Rajasthan, it was around 3,000 crore. It contributes to the export basket of Rajasthan. And this was 2-3 years back. Though there has been a shrinkage now in this industry, the turnover has gone down substantially, but still it accounts for around 9% of the state's total export. If we talk of the country as a whole, India usually has, as a country, the handicraft segment actually is around 30,000 crores industry. And Rajasthan is one of the leading contributors with a share of around 12% to the net, total export of the country. If you look at the national scenario, the share of Rajasthan in the India's handicraft export has been traditionally high since the very beginning, and from times immemorial, the handicrafts have been integral part of Jodhpur city. I'll focus a little bit on Jodhpur because Jodhpur is the center point in Rajasthan. Besides Barmer and other places, Jodhpur is the center where it is generally considered a center of handicraft of Rajasthan. And the artisans of Jodhpur, in fact, right now are facing some challenges. I'll come to that. But before that, let me just focus on what are the main handicraft industry of Rajasthan in particular. So it's basically pottery and clay, textile printing and embroidery, then wood turning and lacquered wood, leather footwear and bags. The jutis of Rajasthan, particularly Jodhpur, are very famous. Then folk paintings, woodcraft, stone carving, paper craft, dolls and Katputli. Katputli of Rajasthan are also again very, very famous. And a lot of musical instruments are made traditionally in Rajasthan, which is also part of the handicraft industry. Uh, Now, since my focus is largely on the wood-based, the woodware-based or woodcraft handicraft, so we have to also look into from where does this wood come from, because that is the biggest challenge. Most of the handicraft industries are using the forest and plantation wood. The wood procurement is generally made through depots and merchant. That is the official way it has to be done. But around 32.96% of the handicraft exporters and manufacturers are actually using the reclaimed wood. It has also been found that some of the handicraft exporters are also using the railways were auctioning a lot of wood in the past, and they have procured that wood and they were using that wood. And the states, Rajasthan, in fact, only gets 10% of the wood from its own. The state is only able to contribute 10% of the wood that is being used by the handicraft industry of Rajasthan. The major chunk of wood comes from UP and then Gujarat, followed by Punjab and MP, and also Maharashtra and Bihar to some little extent. Now, talking about the wood, the wood basically usually it's the wood which is purchased. It's the reclaimed wood as they call it, but it is actually different kind of woods that they procure, and it's largely through the agents that they get it. There is a big market which is also a very unregulated market, and 61.54% of that is through the agents that these handicraft industry they pay a premium on sometimes on acquiring these wood lots. The official channel through the depots, it's only a very meager 5.49%. So as you can see from these figures, it's quite clear that acquiring wood by the handicraft industry in Rajasthan itself is one of the biggest challenges. There is a lot of grey market, and this is the biggest grey area. Of course, the government and forest department organize the auctions for forest trees and issue permits. And you all are very well aware of how this functions. And that is how this chain is from the plantation forestry, which is very, very meager in Rajasthan. It should go to the contractors, to the agents, merchants, depots, and then the manufacturers. Now, this is loosely the organization. There are three different segments. The wood sourcing, the forest department is one, but then the private owners come into the picture, and through the contractors, they sell off a lot of woods. And then also the recycled wood also keeps coming back through contractors and directly. And then, of course, when we talk of the government sector, whatever wood comes, because we are in touch with the Jodhpur Handicraft Association, which is known as JIHA. And these people always keep telling us that the biggest problem they face is in the TPs, the transit permit. And they getting the wood from different states always becomes quite challenging. And the wood that they get, they are not certified. So when because this is an export-oriented industry, exporting without certifications again is a big problem for them. So these are, of course, they add up to the challenges that the industry is facing right now. Now, then, of course, the another important aspect that we have to, in fact, consider while talking of handicraft industry is that the wood, in fact, species, what is the wood that is coming in? What wood actually it is? So the three most commonly used wood in the handicraft sector are, of course, shisham, Dalbergia sisu. It's very, very important. One of the most favored wood, but of course, it is, accounts to almost 34%, and equally almost close is mango. And that is then followed by acacia, wood from acacia. Then there is, of course, tea, there is pine, but all this wood that is other than shisham and mango, these woods are primarily the ones which are, in fact, they buy it from, they get it from foreign countries. That is the imported wood. So right now, a lot of the big handicraft houses in Jodhpur, in fact, they are right now sourcing their wood from imported woods, which is certified wood. And they say that finally, since the market is only the foreign countries, they sell it off. So they are ready to pay the premium for getting the wood from by importing the wood and then processing the product and exporting it back. So, but of course, the small players, the artisans, are not able to do that. So that is again one of the challenges. So as I'm going through my presentation, I'm also discussing some of the challenges that big players are, of course, getting the wood, high quality wood of their choice, imported tea, oak, pine, and the medium density fiber boards. They get it from Malaysia, Indonesia, New Zealand, and Germany primarily. But then the small players, which actually is the biggest industry. I should say the bearers of the industry, they are suffering because the big players are able to manage, but the small artisans are not even able to make their ends meet at the end of the day. Now, talking of the wooden articles, Rajasthan is known for its wooden articles. I'll go into a little bit of details of what kind of handicraft is available from both Rajasthan and Gujarat. I'll just give you a quick glimpse into what is the characteristic of this market. What are the items that are available under what categories? So Rajasthan is known for its wooden items primarily. Of course, leather is also there, and the textile is also there, but wood dominates. As I have already said, that wood is Jodhpur is a hub of the furniture export to the foreign countries, and around Jodhpur itself has a turnover of around over 2,000 crore annually from Jodhpur itself. More than 50% of the India's furniture export to the United States and European Union actually is taking place from Jodhpur. This is all the ethnic furniture, all those kind of furnitures with ethnicity attached to it. Now, around 75% of the handicraft produced in Jodhpur were made from wood, including small gift articles, carved items, toys, and furnitures. Now, the process, of course, this is the industry, big industry in Jodhpur itself. So these industries, they procure the wood. It can be from any source. Finally, the bigger industries also have their chemical treatment plants where they do their seasoning. And that is one of the areas of research for ICFRE organizations. IWST Bengaluru is doing a lot of research on wood seasoning and trying to, in fact, do research on ways of seasoning wood which are eco-friendly in manner using minimum chemicals, minimal damage to the environment, environmentally sustainable methods of wood seasoning. This is an area, big canvas for doing research. Then, of course, this wood is seasoned wood is taken through a process of planking, and then finally the artisans sit on it. And in Rajasthan, it's not very heavily dependent on the machinery or very highly mechanized. It's still based on the fine craftsmanship of the artisans still. So that is where the beauty lies. The handmade products, each product has its own signature, as against the products which are usually made by machines. Nowadays, every imitation handicraft is available. A lot of things which are, I came across a beautiful article which was having very beautiful intricate carving in it. And later I came to know that it was made in China. So a lot of products are, our own artistry is getting to China, where they are devising machines to replicate that item. And they are not just selling it back to India, as a, I should say, I mean, it's a slap on our face. At the same time, they are selling it to the other countries. I mean, taking away our own products, our own geographical indicators are being sold off to other countries by, I mean, products which are fake imitation handicrafts. So this is something which is very, very, it's one of the biggest challenges which will be in the coming times. Uh, then coming to wood carving, woodwork has been there in Rajasthan since ancient times, and the masterpieces can be seen in the museums. And those who have already visited Rajasthan, or those who ever, if you visit Rajasthan and visit, because when you come to Rajasthan, you will be visiting all those old palaces, havelis, and the old monuments. And when you go to these palaces and all, you'll come across a lot of beautiful century old woodwork that, I mean, still is being done till date. So woodwork in the form of latticed windows or jalis, door arches, parapet walls, etc., are quite popular in Rajasthani architecture. That is sort of, I should say, hallmark of the Rajasthani culture. These windows, these jalis, you'll see all across the palaces and forts across Rajasthan. Every city, every princely state, you will find they have the signature of these Rajasthani craftsmanship. And surprisingly, sandalwood has been used mainly for wood carving due to its malleable characteristics and delicate natural fragrance, and also because it's easy to work with because of its close grains and fewer knots. Though Rajasthan is was not the center for where the sandalwood grows. It's of course Karnataka and South, but of course I'll come to that later on. AFRI has started doing research on sandalwood also. Uh, Now, Gujarat also has taken up sandalwood plantations in a big way. But of course, in the past, sandalwood used to be, I mean, the kings used to get sandalwood logs and they used to do it. So all this can be easily seen in Rajasthan. The heart of sandalwood is, of course, I mean, need not say that the fragrance comes from the hardwood. Now, the process, of course, as I said, is totally handmade. Products are being made, and they use fine knives and their implements, and it takes a long, long time to chisel out beautiful designs. And these highly integrated designs are created using combination of carving methods, such as deep carving, shallow carving, lattice work, and framework on a very, very miniature scale. And one of the major attractions when you come to Rajasthan is the Katputli. The Katputli in Rajasthan means the puppet made out of wood, and where Kat means cart means wood, and Putli means a puppet. So now it's not all made of wood. It's only the face and the upper body. There is a small stump which is made up of wood, and usually it is the wood of Ailanthus excelsa. Ailanthus excelsa, that is Urdu. Wood is primarily used because it's a light wood and it is easy to work with. It is soft wood and easily available, fast growing tree. Also, mango wood is used. And since this wood is also available easily in the market at around 500 to 600 rupees quintal, and Katputli is controlled by, of course, I need not say, I mean, everybody must have seen Katputlis or the puppets. But Rajasthani Katputlis particularly are very sought after pieces. People, the tourists, the foreigners, even Indian tourists, whosoever comes from outside Rajasthan, everybody would take these Katputlis with them to be to decorate their houses in their living rooms or in the drawing rooms. And they're easy to carry around, lightweight, very colorful, very beautiful. And this is the process. I won't go into the details. The process of Katputli making, as you can see, the wooden part, as you can see on the top left of the slide, wooden part is a very small stump of the wood which is used, which is given the form of a face, and then it is beautifully painted into a feminine or a masculine form with a paint job. And then the Rajasthani textile material is used to make the legs and the flexible part of the body, which are used with the strings for, making shows, the dramatic shows of Katputli, which is itself, Katputli making is one art, and then display of Katputli to portray the different folklore is another art in itself. So usually the Kathputli making artisans also are involved in the dramatic. There is a big theatre form of Kathputli. They all the folklores, big battles can be shown by these delicate and very complicated moves of Kathputli. It's a very big industry in Rajasthan, but it's slowly dying a slow death because I mean particularly the youngsters of today are not much interested in our art and craft. They are more interested in, running on mobiles and more towards going towards the other direction of AI. But I think this is something which is to be preserved. And again, a big challenge. This is a dying art which has to be given, which has to be brought into limelight so that it again picks up its interest in the masses. Now, another very delicate form of wooden art of Rajasthan is the wooden tarkashi, which is in fact use of metal wire, the golden metal wire, which is impregnated into the wooden boxes or stools or bangles. So the wooden work is done, and then small engravings are done, and then the wood into the wood, small crevices of the wood that are formed by the artisans. They engrave the wires into it, and after that, buffing and polishing is given, and finally, very beautiful metallic form of finish is obtained with the wire just peeking out from within the wood, and it's very expensive depending on the delicacy, or I should say the extent of detailing. It becomes even more expensive. So it is one of the craft forms. I mean, it's there in other parts of the country also, but primarily Rajasthan's Tarkashi is very having its own beautiful signature. Then there is another form which is not wood, but that is a grass. That is sarkanda, and this is basically also known as the barua grass or the Tripedium bengalensis, which is the sarkanda. And we all have seen these muras or small sarkanda furnitures, which uses a stalk of this grass to make beautiful lightweight chairs or muras or sofas. And this is another form that comes out from Rajasthan. It's a very big market, and you if you happen to come to stay in a desert camp in Rajasthan, particularly in Jaisalmer, you will see that this is the furniture they use to seat the tourists. People will sit on them in a desert camp. And otherwise, also, it's very popular here in Rajasthan. People buy it, take it. It's easy to take around because of the lightweight. And though it looks very delicate, but it's in fact not that delicate. It is quite long lasting if taken care of properly. So it's another very good form of furniture making coming out from Rajasthan. Then there is wooden lacquerware from Rajasthan, which of course involved the ornamenting wood with paintings and lacquering through wood turning. And the wood usually is soft wood is used, and then finally the articles are rubbed and painted, and then they are turned into so many different forms. And a lot of times furniture also comes out. In fact, this is very close to the another form of furniture making, which is common with Gujarat. I'll come to it in my slides soon. Now, a layer of lac are then scrapped on this. And finally, the main centers of this is Jaipur, Kota, Udaipur, Jodhpur, and Samay Madhopur, as well as Khandela. Then block printing is another very beautiful form, though this is a woodwork-based artistry, but it has got two dimensions in it. The blocks are made out of wood, but the final finished product is a textile product. So it's the cloth, that is, the block printing is done on cloth, and the block is made out of the wood. And traditionally, these are hand-painted textiles in Rajasthan, and is characterized by imprints of geometric as well as stylized floral and animal forms which are first engraved or chiseled on the wooden blocks. And there is a lead block, also known as the rake, or a foreground or the filler block, and these together, the two kind of blocks, the background block and the foreground blocks together are used. One as a block which in fact gives the print, the outline, and the other is a filler block. So these two are used together, and making these blocks is a set of artistry. The artisans, it's a very special kind of artistry to make these blocks out, and then it's very nicely done. Just like as if one happens to see this block printing, it looks like as if some robots are printing on it. It's so nicely and methodically done by these artisans, the block printing, using a lot of colors which are eco-friendly colors. Nowadays, most of the chemical dyes are used, but in the past, these were the floral-based colors, and the vegetable-based colors were used for these. So this is usually done on good quality wood, and most of the time it is the shisham or the Delbaja sisu wood which is taken, and the life is around 200 meters. A block usually lasts around 200 meters because after repeated printing, the block also loses its finesse. So the block also the block the structure, that is the small carvings made on the block, these outlines that are made on the blocks for printing, they also become blunt. So, but it is good for around 200 meters of printing, and then they again rework on those blocks and come up. And but due to, of course, high cost of teak wood and non-availability of teak wood, particularly by the artisans who are poor, they have shifted towards a local wood of Rajasthan, which is known as Marwar teak, which is the Tecumilla undulata. It is called Marwar teak because the wood is of very high quality in terms of grain and its strength. Very good wood, but it is the bole is very undulated. So clear logs are never formed in this plant. Very rare. So Tecumilla undulata, in fact, AFRI is working on its genetic assessment and improvement program is right now underway on this particular plant, Tecumilla undulata. So Tecumilla undulata is, and the flower of Tecumilla undulata is the state flower of Rajasthan. Then there, of course, is the lac articles, and the craft was made conversant by the king of Jaipur, Maharaja Ram Singh, in the 18th century. Lac is, in fact, a resinous substance, as you all know, secreted by the insect Carya leca, and the kusum trees are the host plant for lac insect. Now, the extracted lac is filtered and purified, and it is then made, then accumulated in containers, and later they are converted into varnish and sealing wax. The wax produced so undergoes the steps of heating, combining, and kneading, and finally the dough is obtained, and then wood base is used to shape these lac-based items. The lac work from Savai Madhopur area, Jodhpur, and Udaipur are known for their charming colors and vibrant and flawless finish. Now, these were some of the highlights that I gave about the Rajasthan's handicraft industry, the Rajasthani art form, mostly the wood-based ones. Then coming to quickly to this, I'll not take much of time on this. In fact, handicraft of Rajasthan is very prominent, but equally prominent and famous is that of Gujarat. And of course, there are different kind of handicraft industries: the embroidery, the beadwork, textile printing, the bandhani, that is tie and dye, the leather work, pottery, then woodwork, stonework, etc. Everything is, and it has its own signature. Every region has its own signature, its own geographical tag attached to it. Now, something very similar to Tarkashi in look and feel, but on a sort of different kind of a scale, is the Sandeli or the Sadeli woodcraft of Gujarat. And this is the Sandeli is the sandalwood woodcraft of Surat, and it is loved nationally and internationally. It has a very big market, and it takes years of experience to carpet delicate Sandeli articles with state-of-the-art designs. big boxes, trunks are made out of this article. Articles are made out of this sandalwood-based art form. Won't go into much of the details of this, but of course, would like to say that this market, of course, sandalwood is another area of research in which, I mean, at AFRI, we are trying to explore whether we can increase, can we have some varieties of sandal which can be taken up from the high rainfall areas to the lower drier tracts of the country? Can we have plantations of sandalwood to support these kind of industries? Now, then there is the Sankheda furniture of Gujarat, which is a furniture, in fact, in which what they do is they use metallic paint on the wood and a lot of kind of different kind of furnitures, jhulas, to even the modular kitchen, to like living room furnitures, to the jhulas and the cots for the newborn and infants are made out of it. And the furnitures, in fact, get a name from a village near Vadodara, and it is famous for its lacquer work. And here you will see, usually on a dark background, a metallic finish is done with basically the sheets of tin foil is pounded with hot glue till they dissolve, and finally they put it in water, and then it's finely painted onto the finished black or maroon colored this thing. And even beautiful temples you can find with this kind of artwork. So, I mean, this was sort of what I talked about was to, in fact, it was a window into the handicraft industry of primarily of Rajasthan and also Gujarat that I had actually showcased here. And in fact, this is best seen in person. I mean, people, I invite you all, most of you should have already visited, but those who haven't, I invite you to come to AFRI feel this industry, see this, the culture of Rajasthan and connect it with the handicraft industry, how beautiful they are and how this industry is going on. Now, but of course, as I've already highlighted some of the challenges and some of the problems being faced by the industry. In fact, this industry also requires a lot of research, and AFRI Jodhpur is, of course, one of the institutes which is a focus on tree species and focus on the wood, focus on forestry for Rajasthan, Gujarat, Dadra, Nagar Haveli, which are our jurisdiction states, that is particularly arid and semi-arid regions. So AFRI has been carrying out many research activities which are in some ways also connected to the handicraft industries. Though our research is on a very large scale, catering to the forest department, to the other stakeholders, but of course, that said, handicraft industry is also one of our stakeholders. AFRI has been working on genetic improvement, genetic assessment of different tree species. And particularly, we have worked since the beginning, since inception, early 90s, we started working on neem, where research started with selection of trees, and of also national and international progeny trials were established in Jodhpur under the International Neem Network, followed by the National Neem Network, which was funded by the NOVOT board. And we have done selections of CPTs. So the neem, of course, the wood is not the primary target. The neem seeds is the target. But that is again a timber species we have been working on. Then coming to Roheda. So, of course, that progeny trial that I was already talking, we are also working on genetic improvement program for Roheda. And this is very, very important tree species. And we need to work on the species of this region particularly, so that we can provide fast-growing varieties or clones that can also serve the purpose of the handicraft industry and for the furniture industry in the form of plantation forestry. AFRI in that has, after 20 years of research on Delverja Sisu, has released 3 clones of Shisham, the AFRI DS1, DS2 and DS4, which have been released by the ministry 2 years back. And as you all know, because of the long gestation period of the inherent nature of forestry, it takes a long time to come out with varieties and clones in forestry. And that is the reason that after so many years, we have come out for the first time with three clones. And at a 25-year rotation period of Delvaja Sisu, the total yield of wood is expected to be around 284 cubic meters per hectare, and a merchantable log yield of around 84 cubic meters per hectare. And so this is it is estimated that a total income of around 29.40 lakhs is estimated from this merchantable logs. And not just that, the additional income from minor timber and fuel wood is also there, and is expected that the grain from the planting of these improved clones developed by AFRI is estimated to be around 12.52 lakhs per hectare, with a mean annual benefit of around 50,000 hectares per year. So, I mean, these are some figures just telling that these, after long research, we have come up with fast growing Delvaja Sisu clones. And this kind of research is going on for Tecomella undulata, that is Marwa teak. And of course, in the times to come, I think these clones, when taken up by the plant for plantation forestry or in other trees outside forest, when these grown together, I think they can really make a mark. But of course, it will take time, because these things take time. A tree to achieve its rotation age before it's fell, it'll take time. So it's again so slow paced. It's very slow paced, and this is again one of the bottlenecks for doing research and reaping the benefits. It takes time. Then with that, we have also started working on sandalwood research, as I've already told, and we have started in order to promote sandalwood cultivation. We have taken up trials in Gujarat and Rajasthan for the evaluation of existing plantations with the aim of capacity building. And we have taken up trials of sandalwood to see, can we have some varieties which are suitable, some genotypes which are suitable for growing in Gujarat as well as in Rajasthan. So that work is also going on right now. And then to, in fact, mass multiply the varieties, we also have to have methods in place for clonal propagation through tissue culture, as well as vegetative propagation, macro propagation. And that is what also we are working on. This research is going on in AFRI. Then we have also done research in the past on development of the seasoning technologies, the pre-treatment of wood on lesser known, lesser utilized timber species, particularly neem, as well as Acacia senegal. These are the woods which are not much used, but we have tried to explore, can we do some research, and along with IWST, Institute of Wood Science and Technology, our sister institution in Bangalore, together with them, we have tried to work on different aspects, trying to see, can we develop eco-friendly methods of pre-treatment and wood seasoning. And we have worked with Sunart Export, a big export house of Jodhpur. This kind of research was taken up. And finally, neem wood-based display boards, jalis, and neem wood-based small almiras, coffee table, and photo frames, as well as side tables made about Acacia senegal, were created with the help of industry after seasoning of these woods. So this kind of research has been done. And then, of course, we are engaging with the handicraft industry. Last meeting was held around this year. We had one meeting with ICFRE, which was an ICFRE and Jodhpur Handicraft Industry combined meeting we had last year to foster mutual cooperation. This meeting was basically to understand their needs and what we can offer to tell them. So this kind of engagements by ICFRE institution is also going on in an effort to support the handicraft industry through research. I mean, these are long-term goals of industry, of the research institutions together with industry. And we are getting very positive feedback from the industry. They really want us to help them out of the problems. And being Government of India backed organizations, we are much better equipped to help this industry, which is slowly diminishing in its form. So coming to the last part of my talk, I'll focus a little bit about the problems and challenges. I've talked a lot about some of the problems that these industries are facing. But of course, despite various governmental efforts to develop handicraft industry and to protect the interests of the artisans still have to face many problems. And the scenario does not seem to be attractive for the handicraft artisans as they are not able to overcome their weaknesses and struggle hard for their existence. This lot of There are a lot of, like we have the endangered, they are the red listed, the red book of endangered species. The art industry, a lot of art forms are also endangered, and many of the art forms we have already lost down the generations. It's time that we have to revive and recreate some of the lost art forms. And here, we instead of using technology to make fakes, we have to use technology to help the artisans to, in fact, make this industry big and more mechanized, so that it is still the art form, their handicraft. The handicraft doesn't lose its the handcraftedness, but they are able to get help from logistics side, from government side, and they get help from some kind of automation in packaging, in logistics support to support this industry. The sector carries a stigma somewhere of inferiority and backwardness. Against the gleam of the big industry, there is some stigma of inferiority and backwardness. People look down upon with contempt the artisans, considering them as poor, as uneducated, labor class people, which is a very sorry state. In fact, it is something which we have to be sensitive about. We have to put them at a higher level in society. The competition with the latest machine made products of the large industries, and of course, a lot of fakes that are coming out from the outside countries, replicas, is one big dent that this industry is facing currently. And the loss of relevance of handicraft due to the availability of low cost replicated commercial products is one big problem. Of course, middlemen everywhere, whether it is the agricultural produce or it is the handicraft industry, the middlemen earn a huge profit. The artisan, the real person who knows the trade, who knows the art form, gets there's just the peanuts. The handicraft is losing its original form with the change in the lifestyle and culture. So that said, there is of course a demand. The demand is of course also going down, and in fact, there is a change in the taste of people, particularly the young entrepreneur, the millennials, we can call them. The people of the new generation are seen not so interested in the handicraft. The gain is less as compared to the hard work and the time that goes into making an art form. The lack of infrastructural facilities hinder with the growth of the industry, and the lack of organized identity for fixing price, for deciding the quality, the quality standards, etc., and also the lower profit margins, inferior quality, and the price war among artisans sometimes also play a big role in the state of affairs, the artist, this industry is today in. And of course, the poor artist doesn't know about the export, how to go about the exports, and that's why the government is sensitive. The government has got its own setup, but that benefit often doesn't reach the poor, the uneducated artisan who is so much. Has a God gift that he has got down the generation, but he is helpless because just the lack of knowledge about the market, the selling techniques. In today's competitive world, where an MBA is selling even small items and pen and pencil, the poor artisan, where can they compete in this doggy dog world of competition, of marketing and advertising and the modern means of promotion and publicity of the social media and the electronic media? I mean, how will they, who are so poor in education, survive? So lack of education is one of the major features, and that is why skill upgradation and for them is something very much an important part that we have to also put a lot of money into to train them. The GSDP program is already running from the government, and I think under that program, several of the institutions have taken lead to take up different artisans to train them. And I think things are taking shape slowly, but a lot of effort is still required. And many times these schemes don't reach them, and it's not properly even implemented by the implementing agencies. So there is, of course, irregularity of employment, and so many more things are there. And put together, it is a problem. So what is the way forward? I won't go into the details, but broadly, I will just talk about broad things. We have to think about improving the livelihood and socio-economic conditions of the handicraft artisans by developing their capacity. Capacity building is something very, very important for them. Then providing an enabling environment for growth of craft sector by supporting establishment and growth of artisan-based enterprise, investment in R&D. Of course, that is something like IICD, Indian Institute of Craft and Design, Jaipur, is doing in a big way, uh, providing common infrastructure. Then the regulatory environment that should be very, very, that the regulatory framework should suit the artisans, not the middlemen, not the institutions. They should be, uh, in fact, suitable to the people who are doing the craftsmanship. But it is not that at present. Then crafting the differentiation for handcrafted products, leading to higher and larger profit in the market. Certification, the GI tagging, not just the made in India. We have to also popularize the handmade in India campaign along with vocal for local campaign. We have to, in fact, give this campaign handmade in India a big boost. Then, of course, market and trade facilitation has to be done. A lot of things are being done, but I think still a lot needs to be done. Enhancing artisans' well-being by designing and facilitating effective schemes for their well-being, their health schemes, particularly oriented around the artisans. Many of the art forms are also hazardous to them, and that has to be taken care of. Such schemes should be there to support the artisans. Then preservation of traditional craft heritage by ensuring continuity of traditional handicraft across generations. Now, this is another very big problem. The artists, the problem being faced. The new generation of the artisans are not interested in in their own art form. This is a dying art at many places, dying craftsmanship at many places, because the children of these artisans are moving towards the other forms of modern day engineering side, or other forms. They are moving to the different forms of earning fast money, computer science, and all those things. They are not coming back to support their own villages, their own parents, and their own parental art form. That is down the generation, and this suddenly has shown an exponential curve. Actually, if we look at the amount of artisans in the new generation leaving their own parental art form has skyrocketed right now. This is one of the biggest challenge being faced by the handicraft industry of all forms, be it wood form, be it art metalware, be it textile, or whatever it is. The people are going away. The young generation is not interested in their own art form. They're not connecting. They're not taking pride in their own legacy. They are not taking pride in that. So that is also somewhere we have to work at that emotional psyche. That also is our own responsibility of the educated lot from the government side. We have to do something about it. We have to make it so lucrative. Maybe Bollywood has come into picture to make it so lucrative that the young people go back, not just their own generation, but the new people who are getting attracted towards the app development industry, the other form, they should come back. It should be so lucrative. We have to do a lot of brainstorming on that. So with that, I think I've taken a lot of your time. It was a very big, talk. I've taken more time than allotted to me. But at the end, I'll just leave you with one beautiful quote by Leo Tolstoy, the famous Russian. The art is not handicraft. It is the transmission of feeling the artist has experienced. So if we have an artwork, it is the feeling preserved in that art form, the feeling of an artist. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tarun Kant, for a very extensive presentation given on Gujarat. Now I would request if is there any specific question to him by the participants, then kindly let us know. Otherwise, we all go for lunch. I think, Tarun, the participants are not interested in question because they are
Actually, sir, it's I have actually engrossed into the lunchtime, so it's me the culprit. It's not the participants. It's me because I've got it too long a talk. It was.
lot of hard work giving this presentation, wonderful presentations, no doubt about it. So again, once again, I thank you, and you're also.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not able to hear you, sir. It's I'm not able to hear you loud.
Thank you, Dr. Tarun Kant, for your giving the presentations to as well as your director that you could able to spare the time. Looking forward next time on offline.
Definitely, I'll be there, sir. I'll be there in Amity next time. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightening and engrossing presentation, highlighting all the challenges and issues related to the handicraft sector in Western India. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Now we'll be going for the lunch break, and after the lunch break we'll be having the field trip, and there is a small announcement that tomorrow we'll be starting the session by 9:30 sharp. So you're all requested to kindly join the session by 9:30, and we'll be wrapping up by 2 o'clock. Before that, right? Thank you so much.